This is the 128th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the first week of March 2013. This episode is titled Ever Hacked. CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud community experts. I'm your host, Jason Atwood. And joining me for the 128th time in a row, consecutively, this is pretty impressive, is Justin Elstein.
We're approaching Cal Ripken numbers here.
This is big time.
Big time stretch.
This is a lot of podcasts. One a week and 1 week off, and then 1 week where we do a couple in a row. It's a lot of podcasts.
Just saying.
Speaking of a lot of podcasts, we also have a lot of blog posts, and we have a new one this week. I think last week we just talked about mine up on the App Exchange All Stars, so we'll talk about that. We talk about Evernote and the hacking that happened. There's a Tizzy going on the Idea Exchange with actually just a mistake, which is kind of funny.
That was my word, Tizzy.
Yeah,
it looked like a Tizzy.
It was a Tizzy. It's kind of funny, and I got mixed up in it, and you're kind of mixed up in it,
a little bit,
which is interesting. And then an article that relates to last time when we talked about one article saying do people really want to use support, use Twitter for support, which will lead us into a article about 30% of top brands have service Twitter handles, which will then lead us into our next podcast where we're going to do a special thing. We'll tell you about that towards the end of this podcast, and then we'll make our CloudFocus app pick of the week, and I have the greatest pick ever.
Can't wait.
All right, so first up is the blog post on blog.arkusinc.com titled Things to Consider for Your Salesforce Implementation.
Yep.
Which is basically a nice little checklist if you're considering doing a Salesforce implementation. Nice little checklist of things you should be thinking about.
I just like the image that we used for this blog post. It's a flow chart. And the first thing on the chart is call Arkus. And the last thing on the chart says party with an exclamation point.
I think I want something that goes.
There's stuff in the middle that happens.
Who needs anything in the middle?
That's the sausage factory in the middle.
Yes.
We don't want it. We
just
want our awesome Salesforce.
Your party starts with call Arkus.
Yeah.
But yeah, some good tips. Sort of really talking about, should you self-implement or call a consultant, what you should do before, and sort of it gives you some hints of things to do even if you are going to self-implement. So things you should be thinking about, like, discovery, like
don't give
training.
It all away.
Okay, well, it's a nice big blog article, so go go read it up on blog.arkusinc.com. Remember to discuss it. At the end, you can use discuss, and someone will get back to you, and we can continue the social the company connect. The what?
The who now?
I don't know. So go
many what now?
Many who. Go to blog.arkusinc.com for that. Next up is really the news of the week in the cloudosphere.
Is it?
It is. This has been big news.
Oh, you're on this one, not the next one. All right.
Yeah, no, this is not. That one's not big. This is news, which is that Evernote was hacked. All the passwords were hacked.
That's scary.
And they basically went preemptively and reset everybody's password.
Yep.
Everybody's.
Yeah, mine included.
So everybody who had to log in, you got
everyone.
Yeah. Well, what the scary part of that is, that's the key to the key to the castle, because a lot of us, I don't. Please don't get into my Evernote. But some people who I would never mention might keep some of their passwords to other places inside of Evernote. So if you could get to Evernote, you basically get passwords to everything else.
Yeah.
Which is really scary.
That is scary.
I personally am not very scared because I don't really care. I don't know. What are you going to do? There's so many protections. Sure, steal my identity. Good. Come and live in my house. Pay my bills.
That's not what they do when they steal your identity. They don't come live in your house.
They didn't come in your house and just take care of your dog?
Nope. They don't walk the dog.
Walk my dog for me?
They don't feed your daughter.
No.
They don't put her to bed. They don't make sure she brushed her teeth.
Oh.
All those things you still have to do. They do the fun stuff.
They just take all my money.
Take your money and go on vacation.
With my money.
The Caribbean.
And I spend 2 years trying to battle it.
Right.
And become back to Jason Atwood. So I think this came out, they reset. They acted pretty quickly, which is good.
Yes, I noticed I went to Evernote on the desktop, and it's like, you must reset your password.
Right.
And I'm just trying to click on things, and it's like, boop.
Yeah.
Bloop. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Bloop. I had to force quit the application. It wouldn't even let me do anything. And then I had to go to the web and reset it.
Right.
Which wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't a big deal.
You should probably reset that password once in a while anyway.
You should probably reset to something that wasn't in your passwords inside of Evernote.
Or just reset that password because there's so many things in there that I don't want people to get to every 3 months or 6 months or so.
It does bring me to
the option. It does check the option off. Like, make me reset my password every 3 months or something.
This is a good segue, a segue, as we like to say, into a better topic, which is really about how these online services handle what is well known as two-factor authentication and or password policies. And I think that what you're seeing is that the companies that used to start off with, just type in 123 into your password and you can get in, are slowly realizing that they want to be big players. I'm looking at you, Evernote, looking at you, Dropbox, that if you want to be a big player and have people trust you, you have to do what others have done, looking at you, Google, looking at you, Salesforce, and make your password policy...
looking at you, any bank.
Yeah, any bank. Make it much, much better, and not only do things like... So, here's a list of things that I would do if I were to, do password policy stuff. One, you should be able to set a password policy within your own system. So like any system, you should be able to say, have the 5 or 6 widgets that say how long passwords need to be, how strong they need to be, how often they get changed, how many you can ever use again, and what happens if you try to use it too many times. I love that on my phone, and I keep that turned on. You try to get into my phone more than 10 times, boom, down goes the phone. It just blows up in your hand. I like that because that to me is a little protection of, if I forget 10 times, fine, but I basically don't want someone else to, get in there. All those things should be available. There should be ability to do that on any system. And then all these systems should have some sort of two-factor. And I think, we use a lot of online systems which have two-factor. And that's generally the idea that you have not one. It's not a username and password. It's a username, a password, and something else. And I think we've seen, Salesforce does it one way, which is very good, but could be better. Google does it another way, and actually Dropbox recently added in two-factor onto theirs. Which
I like the way Google does it.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about one of the ways that Google does it?
So I like the way Google does the verification codes. So I think our policy is set every month. They refresh
30 days.
30 days.
Yeah.
So for your Google Apps account, you can turn on two-factor, and that requires not only for you logging into the web via just a web interface like Google Docs or Gmail, you have to type in your password, and then every 30 days you have to type in like a 5-digit or 6-digit randomly generated code.
Right, after you type in your username and password.
After you've typed in your username and password that you get, which is tied to you when you first set up the two-factor, where you have a mobile app on your phone, or you can have it texted to your cell phone, I think, if you want. And you use the Google Authenticator app, and it just pops a new code for you to type in, and then boom, you're verified for 30 days. Or if you're on someone else's computer, you don't have to verify that computer for 30 days. You can say, don't save it for 30 days. I'm just logging in here once, and I've got this code here for now. They also have the application-specific passwords. So if you're connecting to their services via a third-party client like Mail.app or Outlook or a calendar application or any other application that you might be connecting to Google through your phone, it has specific passwords. It's not your actual password. There's a specifically generated password that is tied specifically to that application. It's a nice, secure way of making sure that nobody could just connect to some Google property via your username and your regular password by bypassing that web code thing.
Right.
They have to actually have the application specific password for that particular application.
It's a way of not having a password that expires, so you don't have to go in and put new passwords
the verification
for every device.
Right.
The other nice thing they do is they allow you to see a dashboard of all of your passwords, both the applications that are accessing it and the specific, and see when they've last updated it, and you can give them names. So if you're smart, you say, this is Mac OS 10 Lion, mail, and then you can go in and say, oh, it looks like I've used that password, like it looks like I authenticated 2 minutes ago. Great, well, I get my mail all the time, that makes sense. But I see like iPad 1, right? You should never name it iPad because you might have more than one iPad or you might upgrade. So you say iPad 1, and they're like, oh, I still see that it's authentic. It has the ability to authenticate in. I click a button, revoke. That means that device can never connect up and get in, which is very smart. I think so that's well done. I think
the way banks do it too. Some banks.
Some are not really good.
Well, I like Ally. I use Ally Bank for online savings. So a little plug. They owe me money now. And they make you type in your username on one screen. Then they pass you to another screen where you see your picture image and your phrase.
But that's not two-factor.
That's not two-factor. That's making sure that you're not logging into something.
That's for phishing.
Right. That you're not logging into something that you shouldn't be logging into.
Right.
I like the way that they do that too. They also can, save, they have the security questions like, I'm on this computer, recognize that I'm on this computer for X amount of time. So a little different flavor of the authentication model online.
And then I like the way that Salesforce does it in that when you log in for the first time, it lets you log in with your username and password. So first time in from that device, and it basically says this browser can get in now. But then if you try to go to a different device, some other place, it will say, hey, I don't recognize this device. I don't recognize this browser. I'm going to send you a code, and they actually have new texting code, which is nice. You have to register your phone, your cell phone in there, but and then they send you an email to whatever email address is associated with your
the user that you're trying to log in
user, and then you get a little code, and you pop that code in, and then that device.
This has gotten better over the years.
Browser is better. Well, what's nice about that is this
used to not be fun. This used to log you out. Remember, you used to not be able to just pump in the code and click a button and then keep going be logged in. It used to log you out. You'd pump in the code, it would verify the computer in that browser, and then you'd have to log in again. It's kind of annoying. And now it has the text messaging, so you don't even have to check your email. You can just catch it on your phone.
The problem is most people don't put their phones in first, so then the time they need it to get texted,
they don't have it.
But I like that because it's sort of protecting you against yourself and protecting you against wherever you're going, and reminding you sort of if you're at your boss's house or you're at an internet cafe, hey dude, you're about to log in through a place that we don't recognize, and you might not want to leave this as you might want to log out and not keep this as a place. So anyway, here I tweeted immediately after they got hacked. I said, you guys got to go to two-factor, and Dropbox actually used the same. I don't know how they did this. I mean, it must be aliens, but they used Google's the same tool that Google uses to do two-factor, the authenticator app that's on my iPhone that randomly generates. I connected it up with Dropbox, so I now can go to one app to get any of the codes. Like Evernote, do that, whatever that is, because that's good. Because not only then I have the two-factor, but then I know I can go to one app to get it, and it has a list of them. Like I have my 2 Gmails and my Arkus and my Dropbox, so it's like, oh great, I have all of them here. I would say I'd like Google to get a little bit better with making people do it. Like I can't, as an administrator, tell people they have to turn on two-factor. They have to willingly want it, and I'm like, well, as an administrator, I should be able to say no. You all get two-factor. There's no choices. And Salesforce is bitter about that. You can actually tell users what their policies are going to be, when they're going to password, right? So interesting stuff. But anyway, sorry Evernote, but yeah, I think you just set yourself back a bit, especially when you're trying to go for the enterprise. Next up is a little tizzy on the Idea Exchange, which I was involved in. There's an idea on the Idea Exchange called, what's the actual? Oh,
called allow approval comment merge fields to be used in all approval related emails.
So it's a really wordy thing, but basically when you do an approval and there's all sorts of fields, you want some of the fields to be thrown into the email.
What you want is the comment.
Right. This got rejected because of this.
The comment.
The approval comment.
Right. The approval comment.
And this is I mean, it's posted more than a year ago. I can't imagine
they don't tell you how long ago, but I can tell you that it's at least
shouldn't we?
years.
Well, shouldn't we see the comments?
Well, no, because the comments still say more than a year. But I was the first person to vote and comment on this idea way back when, and I can tell you that that's at least 4 years ago when I would have made that comment on this thing at least 4 years ago.
So it came as a little misunderstanding. So I posted on this, and obviously I was getting some of the emails, and then one came up that said it went from under consideration to
not planned.
Not planned. And so that started off, some people would be like, really, you're going to do that? Then someone else who was logged in as a Salesforce admin, so their username was Salesforce admin, posted, we can do this via a pay app on the App Exchange. What would you pay for it? So then everybody starts going, really? You say you're not going to do this, but then you're going to charge us for us? It turned out that was just someone logging in through their admin, but it was someone on the Exchange who had, or, not a Salesforce person. But then the product manager got wind. I played my part because I posted inside of another community to get them to sort of take a look. I don't know if that helped or not. But then the product manager came in and said, oh, no, false alarm. It's actually under consideration.
Yes. And on Twitter as well.
Yes, and on Twitter.
Yep.
Which brings us a little bit
I think
to the...
Shauna, who is the person who posted this on Twitter, is more... Shauna is not the product manager of this, I don't think. She's more an ideas person.
Right. Which is good. I mean, in some ways, it's a good story because it shows that they're watching and paying attention, because that
they're connected.
They're connected. They're connected, and they're a company.
Well, they do watch these ideas like hawks.
Well, they should. Yeah. So this guy named Charles, whatever, we've created a custom solution. What would you willing to pay for it? That's fine.
You forwarded that to me. You thought it was funny.
Yeah. Well, because I thought it was.
Really?
From Salesforce. Really? You're just gonna be like, yeah, we got a custom solution. So that was the Tizzy. Good to know that they're paying attention to it. Under consideration is better than not planned. I think one of the comments was funny was like, not planned? Really? You're like the company that listens to people?
Really? After 5,000 something votes and more than a year on the Exchange and 100 something comments, not planned?
This is like 5 years old. We know this is at least 5 years old.
Well, yeah. We know that because of when I commented on it.
Yeah. So 5 years old, at least.
At least 4 or 5 years old, yeah.
Right.
Because I know exactly what I was doing when I needed this.
Yeah, so at least 5 years old. So, it's nice to have it out there, nice to have people promote it, but go in and vote, because it's a nice feature. I mean, you don't battle up against it until you need to do it. Then you're like, why can't I get that to come in? Yeah. But anyway, so we'll see if they do it. And then the last piece is an article on Mashable, that says 30% of all top brands have customer service Twitter handles, which is interesting.
That's top 100 based on the Interbrand 100, which ranks businesses based on financial status and how the brand influences purchasing decisions and how strong the brand is, whatever that means.
30% of top brands. Seems
3
low.
out of 10.
Seems low.
Let's do some math here.
Seems low.
You'd think more. But,
you would think more.
Top brands sometimes aren't always on top of, like, this type of thing, because top brand could mean old school thinking in some ways. Like, it's not like top 10 brands to pop up in the last 2 years.
Well, you also could think of brands that, there are brands that maybe they don't, like I could think of like
Nike.
Mobil Exxon. Well, Nike is a consumer base, but there could be companies that make oil.
What's the
what are they going to support you?
You
don't
like
your oil?
Support Twitter. My shoe broke.
Yeah, no, it's Nike support. Nike
my
Run.
Thing doesn't work. My shoe breaks.
My shoe broke.
I guess they make consumer electronics.
They make consumer. Yeah. You'd want to, if you're a consumer company, you want to have a support side. But again, against the article that we read last week, that was saying, people really don't want to go to Twitter for support. They want to go to Twitter to complain. Yeah. they want to B&M on the tweet.
I think the way that I used Twitter just last week was like, a really well done way to use Twitter in the support world.
So what you're saying, what you did was well done.
I think okay. It worked. So let's use the proof in the pudding. I opened a traditional support ticket, was getting no traction, went to Twitter, mentioned the company, and got a bunch of people to even retweet it. And then the company said, we'll get on that. And then boom, support rep was all over it. Like, would not leave me alone about it. To the point where it was almost the entire
Then you had to tweet, please tell support to stop emailing.
Yeah. Stop calling me every 3 minutes.
That's funny.
But yeah, they were like all over it. Like white on rice after I tweeted the company and said, "Hey, I have this." I gave them the ticket number.
Yeah,
here's this ticket number. It's
it.
Open for a long time.
Well, get
on it.
So, for example, I didn't do it over Twitter. I did it on the Idea Exchange. I posted that I was having some trouble with some support, and I posted to Twitter. I posted the case number, and bam,
on the Idea Exchange.
Yeah,
you posted an idea that said, make support better, here's a case number?
No. Well, you want the full story or you want to wait till next week?
No, we'll wait till next week.
All right,
so this is a full support
So
pod.
We've been kind of talking about support and the good, the bad, but I usually dump these things on Justin about 4 seconds before the podcast, so I've been thinking about this for a while. We're going to do a state of the support. So like a State of the Union.
Good examples, great examples, and some not so great examples.
And we're going to say company names, so be prepared. And we're going to talk about support and best practices. And we're not doing this just as consumers, because that's one way. We are consumers. But we're going to do this from 3 different levels. And I think this is where this could be an interesting podcast. We're consumers, and we do a lot of support.
Better be an interesting podcast.
Well, if you're awake for it this time, it'll be nice.
I've been awake for the last couple.
Yeah, last couple.
We've done 128, okay?
You've been asleep for at least 10.
I can take a few off.
You've been asleep for at least 10.
That's a good percentage.
You only remember 120.
Listen, 90% of Justin is pretty good.
Is pretty people calling you out on Twitter.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Anyway, I would say we're going to take this on from 3 different levels. This is the next podcast, not today, next podcast, but here's the talking point, what we're going to think about. So we are consumers big time. We do lots of stuff, and we deal with a lot of support from, I do Twitter support. I've done cases on Twitter. I've had things, and I've done email and whatever, so I'm a big consumer. I buy a lot of crap. So I'm going to come at it from a consumer standpoint. Then we're going to come at it from the we support people. Right? So we have both been in organizations where we are support, meaning we have actually had to support people. I've been IT support. I've had to go fix people's computers and stuff like that and or servers. Yep. I also now at Arkus, we have support. So we actually have to support people and how we do it and what channels we choose. And
our products.
And we thought about that. So that's the second side of it. Then the third side of it, the third die side for you D&D freaks, is that we build support systems. So we use Salesforce and build out other people's support systems for Fortune 100 companies. So we don't know a little bit about support. We actually know a lot. So I think it's going to be interesting because we'll take those examples. We'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of support. All support all the time. And maybe I'll give you the heads up. Let's try to make some of our picks about support.
Okay.
Speaking of picks.
Let's get to it.
There's a Segawooey.
You're just stretching that word really thin.
Indian chief, Segawooey?
That's not good.
No?
You're just stretching the word really thin.
Go for it.
All right, so I've had this gift card for a long time.
I love gift cards. Oh, did I give it to you? Probably. I've given you one of these.
Or the partner shall not be named gave me a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunks, as we like to call it.
Or Dunks if you're in the
Northeast, yes.
And there's Dunkin' Donuts on the corner on my way to the subway to work. On my way home.
Live, yes.
Where we live.
Yeah.
Where we both live.
Yes.
We both live a couple blocks from this Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, we do.
And I pass by it every day. Not that I love Dunkin' Donuts or would even go in there necessarily to even get anything. But if I had my gift card on me, I'd be more inclined to, on a whim, fly into the Dunkin' Donuts and say, oh, I'm going to get a donut or a cup of whatever. Right? And now in New York, to get a small one, if I want sugar in it, or that's for a whole
other story. 16 ounces. Whatever. You're not going to make 16-ounce coffee.
I was like, you know what? I'm not carrying a Dunkin' Donuts gift card in my pocket or in my wallet.
Ever.
So I go and I find that they have an app in the iPhone App Store.
It's the new iPhone App Store?
Whatever, the iOS, the App Store on my phone. And it integrates with Passbook, which is now one of my favorite things. And I think we talked about this last week or the week before. I love when apps integrate with Passbook. So now when I open up my Passbook, I have
your Dunkin' Donuts
my
card
Dunkin' Donuts card in there.
Oh, that's
so I just open up Passbook, and boom, there's a Dunkin' Donuts card in there. And so I'm picking the Dunkin' app on the iPhone. It also understands location. So it knows.
So it peeps at you constantly. You have
It doesn't say, "Oh, you're walking past." Beep. But you can open the app. And there's a little tab for deals.
Okay.
And it knows you're near this Dunkin' Donuts. You can go in there with this deal and get it right now. So, 25% off this, buy one, get one free. You know, a couple deal, those types of deals. Nothing major, but a nice little teaser to get me in the store. That plus the ability to put my gift card in there, or if you're a Dunkin', like my parents are crazy with Dunkin' Donuts. They go every day.
Yeah.
So my mom, I imagine, has a card that she probably refills or whatever. You can set all that up through the app, which is pretty neat.
That's neat.
And then with Passbook, you just open up your Passbook. It has a little QR code for them to scan and blammo.
So here's the real true chess. This is why I'm looking skeptical at you.
Okay.
Have you tried it?
Have I walked into Dunkin' Donuts and tried using it?
Yep.
No, but I'm really worried about it.
It's not gonna work.
I know.
They're
gonna be like, what is that?
I almost saw an accent, but I'm not doing it.
I'm worried about it.
They're gonna be like, no.
They're gonna look at that and they're gonna be like, that's not a card, and I have nothing to scan that way.
Right.
But.
And then you're gonna have a fit, and then
you're gonna have a little bit of a fit,
Dunks.
and then I'm gonna tweet at them and see how they handle it.
There we
go.
So
maybe we'll have a sports story.
All right, so Dunkin' with Passbook.
Well, I put with Passbook in there.
Okay.
It's just called Dunkin'. It's free.
Nice.
Obviously, you have to buy stuff though. It's like a free app, but if you want this functionality of
how do you get the codes in there?
You just type them in.
Oh God!
Yeah,
almost a full great
thing. Well,
thing.
it has I mean, I guess if there was a scanner on the back of the card or something, that would be cool. You just take the picture of it. But you have to scratch off the last portion of the code to get to the last few numbers. Right. So maybe that's why they're protecting themselves.
Well, iTunes, but anyway, you can now hold up the cards to your eyesight and it automatically recognizes them.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, so it's
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it is. Try it at home. You're going to love it.
I might try that.
You might try that.
Someone's got to get me an iTunes gift card.
Yes,
I got to try that.
You'll get one.
I want to see if I can do that right on my phone.
Dunkin'. You can do it with your phone, too.
Because I know that I've done pharmacy refills from the phone, from the Dwayne Reed app.
Oh, nice.
I haven't picked, which I guess I'm now double picking.
Picking.
You take a picture of the barcode on the prescription bottle.
Yeah.
If you have a refill left.
Yep.
Or if you get a prescription or something, you take a picture.
You're on a lot of meds.
Yeah. Well, a lot. Too many. That's why I'm sleeping half the time. And they'll put in the refill and then boom, you just go to the store and grab it.
Nice.
Better than going and waiting and doing all
Double
that
pick.
stuff.
Dunkin' and Dwayne Reed.
Mobile apps.
Two franchises that are a block from our house.
Yep.
Both equal distance, probably.
And might be in Dunkin' Donuts might be in that top 100 of the brands. I wonder if they have a Twitter support.
Maybe.
This is all coming together.
Yeah, it's all coming together. All right,
what's your pick? You're going to blow my mind, you said.
I am going to blow your mind a little bit. Maybe not.
Probably.
I don't want to say you're going to blow your mind. And
probably
then,
not. You're not blowing my mind.
So, you have been a fan of Pandora.
Oh, I love Pandora.
Right.
For years.
But
what?
You don't pay for it.
No.
And
free.
You know that the new thing coming out is 40 hours a month they cut you off.
No.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
But I have ads. I'm fine with ads. Ads are cool.
40 hours a month they're cutting you off.
Oh, I probably use it for about that's probably where I use it, right at about 40 hours.
So they said it's going to be about 3%. So here's what I'm saying. So here's what happened. I was talking about someone to this. I was actually in the gym, and I was talking about Pandora. And I'm like, I love Pandora. Actually, my trainer, in the class, he was playing Pandora, and I was like, I didn't hear a lot of ads. He's like, yeah. I said, do you pay for it? He's like, no, maybe I flipped around, whatever. I said, oh, they're going to lock it off at 40 hours. He's like, oh, well, maybe you should start to use Songza. And I was like, oh, Songza, that's interesting. How do you know about that? And he goes, oh, because he invented it. And he points over. And so in our building, the building we live in, this guy, you don't go to the gym. But if you went to the gym, you see him.
Gym. That was funny.
Yeah, no gym.
Gym.
You're
hilarious.
So there's this guy over there doing like pull-ups or whatever. And he goes.
Is that what he's doing, pull-ups?
Maybe curls.
Okay.
And he goes, yeah, hey, I forgot his name. He goes, yeah, he invented Songza. And the guy kind of heard him and then popped up. He's like, yeah, it's good. And he's like, yeah, it's. I said, is it like Pandora? He's like, yeah, except for it's free. Okay.
Well, so is Pandora.
No ads.
Okay.
No limits.
No money.
And so I was like,
did you ask him like, how do you afford to live here?
No, because I hadn't even tried it. So I said, and he lives in a building and he lives in Long Island City. Like the actual Songza is based in Long Island City where we live. So it's like, oh, I gotta go try this.
Sure. So I have to try it.
I know. So I go online and I found, actually it was hard because he had told me the spelling of it. And I was like, I thought it was like Z-O-N-Z or Z. It's S-O-N-G, like song. Z-A.com.
Okay,
right. So it's a little tough. That took the longest part. So I downloaded the app. Here's what I like about it. And I've been using it for like 5 days, or since last Sunday or Saturday. So here's why you're gonna like this.
I'm just going to the website right now.
Yeah, well, don't let it play in the middle of our podcast because then we'll be sued.
My computer's on mute.
So here's some nice things. One is there's a great iPhone and iPad app, right?
Okay.
So it works. It's universal. It works. You sign in. You're good. 2, no ads and unlimited playing. You just play. It does have the limit of how many times you can skip. Just like Pandora does.
Has that
but
too.
That's a licensing issue with the music industry, not with them. But here's what's fun about it. It was a little bit of a tweak.
Does it do the whole, like, get to know me kind of thing and build my station?
Let me explain.
All
so
right.
it's a little bit different. It does allow you to go, yes, no, I like this or don't like this.
Okay.
But what it does, when you first log in, it says, when I first logged in, it was Sunday morning, and it goes, and on the iPhone, here you should see the iPad app.
Well, it's saying it's Thursday evening. Play music for.
Yes.
Working with lyrics. Unwinding. Working no lyrics. Entertaining cool friends. Hosting a fun cocktail party.
So what's different about it is they have created a bunch of moods and playlists that go with the moods, and you kind of pick
neat.
your mood. And what I've done, what I've loved about it is because I've now gone, because I used to on Pandora listen to the same 2 playlists over and over again.
I listen to the same one.
Which is yours, right. This is why you probably will be hard to get you off, but whatever.
It knows me. It's known me for years.
You feel like it knows you. I don't
think
it
knows
me.
It loves me.
Oh, whatever.
We have a little like thing.
Yeah. And
Pandora.
you get the stupid ads. And you got now limit. So anyway, it picks your mood. You pick a mood, but I was listening to like bluegrass the other day. I just like they're like, what kind of music? I'm like, it's Sunday.
Throw a little banjo in there.
Do this, and then like, well, you want this type of music? I said, fine. And then I sat there for like 30 minutes, just working away, listening to music that I would never have listened to, because it kind of asked me what kind of mood I was in. There's like drinking coffee on Sunday morning mood. There's like, I don't know. It was really cool. It's a nice app. But here's the best part. I started it. I went for a run the other day and used it as my music for going to run. Left my apartment. Listened to music all the way through the elevator, down, outside, went for a half an hour run and back. Never an issue. Played the whole time.
That's
fine.
Nice.
So I was like, you know what?
Can you AirPlay it to something?
Yeah, it has AirPlay as
well.
So
I can AirPlay it to my Apple TV, which is hooked up to speakers.
Yeah.
See, because Pandora is like on my... It's like already there. It's like
but
TV.
I never use Pandora anywhere but on my
I've
iPad.
Used it like... throw it on the TV because I have speakers hooked up to
the
TV.
But I don't use it. But there's apps. There's Pandora built into Apple TV. There's Pandora built into Roku.
I use it built into the Apple TV.
I don't use those. If I'm going to push it, I just push it.
Oh, I don't. I just use it on the Apple TV.
Anyway, Songza, give it a shot. It is free.
I'm going to give this a shot. I can log in with my Facebook account.
Yep.
So I can,
and you should try the iPad app. It's really nice.
All right, iPad, iPhone, Universal. I can do it up.
Yep, nice. Universal app.
All right, I'll be downloading this later.
And the interface is great. It's a great little app, and as you know, in a big world of this.
Hey, when Pandora starts shutting me down,
Songza, maybe Songza.
Here I come.
So anyway, that's it. That's my pick. SONGZA.com. You can find it on all the devices, I'm sure. I think there's an Android as well. All right, so that's it for the podcast. We will be back next week with our state of the support. All in. We'll just do that, but then we'll also do some picks and stuff. Remember to go to blog.arkusinc.com for all the podcasts, all the blog posts. Remember to go to Facebook at Arkus Inc. We're there as well. Over 200 likes, so like us up there. We're on the Twitter. Justin here is at Just Edelstein. I'm at Jason M. Atwood, and Arkus is at Arkus Inc. You can follow us there. We actually have Arkus support. How about that? So try that out, maybe. I don't know if we pay attention to it. Yeah, we do.
Of course we do.
Oh, of course we do. Well, but no one ever tweets us at Arkus support.
That's because our products are so airtight that they don't need
You know why? Because people rather email.
They do email.
And they do. All right. So go to iTunes and leave a review. We'd love that. Until next week, we'll be back. Another episode. Until then, enjoy those cloudy days.